Well, is this their year as far as Portsmouth are concerned? A 6th successive season in League One. At Charlton Athletic were relegated from the Championship as recently as 2020 after their sole season back in the second tier. The Premier League days do feel a long time ago now. They finished 13th in this division last season, their lowest league finish since 2016-2017. It's a big job this for Ben Garner, big expectation at both clubs, and they go head to head tonight in the Monday Night Football on Talksport 2. A reminder of the two teams: Charlton, Wallacott in goal, Egbo, Innes, O'Connell and Sessegnon the back four, Raksaki, Dobson, Fraser and Kirk in midfield, Stockley and Blackett-Taylor up front. That's the only change. Blackett-Taylor into the starting 11 in place of the injured Miles Leaburn. Portsmouth, Griffiths in goal, Ogilvie, Morrison, the former Charlton player, Raggett and Robertson, Dale, Pack, Morell and Karoma, with Scarlett and Bishop, the two up front. Lots of live football from the EFL to come over the course of the next few days. Wednesday night we're at Coventry, Friday night at Ipswich, Sunday for Watford against Luton, and game day back across the Talksport network on Saturday. But we start our footballing week here on your home of the EFL with live commentary from two of the biggest clubs in League One, Charlton against Portsmouth. Charlton, who start the night 5 points off the playoff places. Pompey is sitting well after their 11 games so far, fourth in League One, and with 3 games in hand on the sides above them. Portsmouth in their change kick, get us underway. Early touch on the near side of the field for young Dane Scarlett, the 18-year-old on loan from Tottenham Hotspur, and he rolls the ball back to the halfway line to the feet of Sean Raggett. And now Michael Morrison, who won promotion with Charlton as League One champions in 2012. His ball driven high downfield, out of play for a goal kick, and it's Charlton from left to right at this fairly vast stadium here, certainly vast by much of League One standards, though it is well under half full by the looks of it, just over 27,000 red and white seats at the ground with the floodlights on, and relatively mild on this Monday night southeast of the capital. Charlton playing from left to right towards the Jimmy Seed stand, which is packed full with Portsmouth supporters in their blue replica shirts, and Pompey playing from left to right towards the two-tiered north end of the ground. Charlton looking to float the ball through the middle, but it's cleared away by Robertson for Portsmouth, and then a foul 10 yards from the halfway line on Scarlett, and Portsmouth get a free kick midway inside their own territory in a central position. 1 minute and 10 seconds gone. Charlton 0, Portsmouth 0, and David Cotney, of course, at this stage, both sides just settling into the game. Yeah, I mean, that was bright, I think, from Portsmouth just from the kick-off, because they loaded the right-hand side of the pitch, but instead then attacked down the left, and that was nice and bright. Spotted that there was a little bit of an underload for Charlton that side, and they've started well. Scarlett has seen a lot of the ball in the early stages. He's had it taken off him though by Dobson in the middle of the Charlton midfield. They look to swing the ball back towards the near side, the right back position to Charlton. It's gone out of play for a throw, and Mandela Egbo will take it. Another former Swindon player, one of several in the Charlton squad after Ben Garner's move from Swindon to join as head coach in the summer. The ball bouncing up and down on the halfway line, and Pompey have it back in the centre circle with Owen Dale, who's on loan from Blackpool, the lime green boots on. He plays the ball forward to the feet of Bishop, back to Dale midway inside the Charlton half, and now Clark Robertson takes over. The ball fed left, the near side, and Karoma's pass in field is clever for Dale, who's drifted out to the inside left channel, steers it back out wide to the near side, and Robertson with plenty of time to swing in the cross, and the diving header away from the defender, the centre half Ryan Innes, inside his own 6-yard box, and a throw to Portsmouth deep inside opposition territory. They take it quickly, looking for the burly number 9 Colby Bishop. Innes has to clear inside his own box, only as far as Karoma, who shoots on the half volley. It spits off the turf and goes wide for a Charlton goal kick, 0-0. Yeah, I mean, it's a good start again, isn't it? Nice football from Portsmouth, working it from right to left. Al's been busy and bright, Karoma's been bright, picked up that clearance on the edge of the box and took the shot on early, just dragged it wide. A good start from the away team, I guess, which is what you'd expect, right? A side that's in form. Well, they have only lost once all season so far in League One, and no side has lost that or fewer matches, and the only defeat was away at Ipswich Town in another thrilling game in this division this season at the very start of the month. Here is Stockley, the And Charlton number 9 back to the halfway line, and Egbo, and now Innes with tattoos down his arms, a square ball to his central defensive colleague Owen O'Connell, and now Stephen Sessegnon wearing number 2, the Fulham loanee, with the ball out to the far side, and Corey Blackett-Taylor beneath the floodlights and beneath the Alan Kirbishley stand, that east side of the ground, named after the former Charlton manager, the great manager who was so successful for Charlton in their Premier League days. And Stockley stumbling has headed the ball out of play inadvertently, and Portsmouth will have a throw, which the bald-headed right back Ogilvie with the red boots on will take. A high throw down the far side touchline. It rather cannoned off the forward Scarlet, but fell neatly into the path of Dale, who goes crossfield right to left with a high raking ball. Too much on it for Koroma to keep in on this near side touchline. Charlton will have a throw again in their right back position. And now Raksaki, the youngster who's been borrowed from Crystal Palace, looking to surge up towards the halfway line. Great feet, Raksaki. Already scored a couple of goals. He's a tall player for a winger as well. A little overzealous, though, with that challenge on the very experienced Marlon Pack playing at the middle of the Portsmouth midfield. And Portsmouth have a free kick, left of centre, 10 yards into opposition territory. And as you say, David Connolly, it's no great surprise given their start to the season, but they have made probably the better start to the game.
Yeah, they have. I mean, they've moved the ball really quickly. You can see they always want to do something busy. They've got a free kick here just over the halfway line. I mean, they might put this in the box, but they have looked just to try and work at the feet. Here they go.
And they've threaded the ball inside left channel towards Scarlett. Scarlett from the dead ball line, teases away from the defender, but the offside flag is up. It was a training ground routine, and as you say, they had sent Morrison, Ogilvie and Raggett up from the back, so everybody was expecting the cross, but you thought differently, David Connolly.
Yeah, because you can just tell how they've started, even from the kick-off. I mean, it looked like Danny Cowley spotted something before they'd even started the match, and that's why they attacked down the left, and they've just been really, really bright. Whenever the ball's gone dead, they've looked very, very sharp, moving it. Great tempo about their pass in Portsmouth here.
Dave and I were here long before the game kicked off as the sun started to set. Red streaks through the sky earlier, not too far from the city in Canary Wharf. In the distance over the river. We've got a great view from our lofty perch in the commentary position, just to the right of the halfway line. We're right behind Danny Cowley and his brother Nicky, the Pompey boss, in conversation with his assistants on the near side touchline, those dark tracksuits on, as the goalkeeper Wallacott for Charlton, the new number 1 at the club, and he's keeping the former Portsmouth goalkeeper Craig McGillivray on the bench, and it's his high clearance downfield that goes all the way through to his opposite number, Josh Griffiths, who is in goal again for Portsmouth on loan from West Bromwich Albion. It's Griffiths all in grey. He drives it high downfield over the head of the jumping Bishop and all the way through to Wallacott again.
Yeah, both goalkeepers there just exchanging passes. What you would say on that clearance from Griffiths, just, you know, maybe loft it a little bit. It's too much of a driven ball from the goalie, so basically if Colby Bishop can't get a touch on it, it's just going to run straight through.
Craig McGillivray, who was so outstanding last season for Charlton Athletic and has been restricted to just a single appearance so far this term. Again, Joe Wallacott is another player that the head coach Ben Garner, who's watching on with his arms folded on the near side touchline down below us, knows from his Swindon days. And Wallacott with the ball again, away to the left-hand side in front of the north stand. A high ball downfield, dealt with by the head of Raggett. The ball drops in the centre circle for Scott Fraser. And now a good turn by Stockley, and a floated ball high down the left-hand channel. Corey Blackett-Taylor will keep it in down by the corner flag. Only really Charlie Kirk to aim it in the middle. Blackett-Taylor has reached the corner of the penalty area. Good pace as he tries to dig out a cross. Blocked by Ogilvie, half blocked, but he had Owen Dale helping him out defensively. And it's Dale who hoists the ball clear up to the halfway line. Charlton there to win it back though, and there's a really good tempo to the first 7.5 minutes that we've seen so far, as Innes tries to float a long ball up the middle towards the edge of the penalty area. Raggett, 6'6", is there to clear, and it's driven downfield up into the dark skies by Ogilvie towards the halfway line. And now Portsmouth will come again on the counter. Koroma, inside left channel, driving forward towards the edge of the box. He's now in a central position. Through ball towards Scarlett, and Scarlett has kept it in play down by the dead ball line, but O'Connell was tracking his every move, the defender. Now Pack from 30 yards. Square ball to his immediate right, and Morel, his partner in midfield. Now Dale from the corner of the box. Back to Morel, who crosses. Bishop with the header, and it's tipped over by Wonnacott, and Portsmouth have a corner. Lovely flowing move.
It was excellent. I mean, I tell you what, the ball comes in from the right-hand side, but on their left, Dane Scarlett keeps this pass in play, using his left foot brilliantly, sets it back to Marlon Pack, feeds it out wide. Eventually, the ball comes in from the opposite side, and there's Colby Bishop with the header, just tipped over the bar. But some more really good football there from Portsmouth.
Well, that's the sense of the quality that they possess, and a real sense of fluidity about the way Portsmouth attacked there. And Dale's floated cross was perfect for the head of Bishop, who arrived from Accrington Stanley in the summer, has made such a blistering start. He sort of first came to attention to EFL sides when he was at Leamington Spa in non-league, did Colby Bishop. Dale will take the corner, right-footed outswinger in front of the North Stand. He takes it short to Morel, who teases the ball back to Pack. Pack's first time high-hanging cross. Wonnacott had to clear it away two-handed. He was barged into by Bishop at the far post, ended up flying into the back of his net, the goalkeeper, dealt with the initial cross well, and not surprising that Wonnacott gets a free kick. But Portsmouth, the better team. Charlton 0, Portsmouth 0 in the Monday Night Football.
Yeah, really animated on the Charlton bench, because, you know, Portsmouth sent two out for the corner to take it short, and their marking wasn't right. Ben Garner screaming at his players just to get it organised. In the end, worked it well to Marlon Pack, and he has got that ability on the ball, hasn't he, Marlon? I think he's going to be a super signing for them.
I remember seeing him a long time ago, Dave, when he was a really young loanee at Wycombe Wanderers, and you could immediately tell that his vision, especially at this level, kind of sets him apart. And I know he's played a lot of football in the Championship
just
as well.
Just because he's played for Wycombe, Joe, that's why you like him.
Oh, he can ping a 30-yard pass though, can't he?
He can.
Effortlessly, and more than that too. Here's Ogilvie, midway inside opposition territory. David Connolly, former Portsmouth striker, with me tonight, but I'm sure you played at the Valley plenty of times in your career, Dave.
Yeah, lovely, great stadium.
And befitting probably of a higher division.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's the challenge that, you know, that they face. I mean, both these clubs face
those kind of expectations as Portsmouth win a free kick in their left-back position, 10 yards shy of the halfway line. Clark Robertson is playing at left-back again tonight, as he has been in recent weeks, nominally a centre-half, but has proved able in that position. He's got a good left foot. And goalkeeper Griffiths for Portsmouth, high-angled ball down the far side there right, hit it away by Sessegnon in front of Bishop, and Ogilvie with a good touch on the halfway line. Portsmouth knocking the ball about nicely. Only been beaten once so far this season in the league, 6 wins and 4 draws. Pompey, they've only lost once away from home so far this season. They've had wins at Cheltenham and Port Vale and Burton Albion. Can they really prove a point though here tonight at the Valley, as Scarlett looks to burst down the middle, but Dobson is there to win it back for Charlton. There's a lot of the dirty work in front of the back four. Lovely floated pass onto the chest of Raksaki, takes it in his stride, darts down the right hand channel straight away to Ahmed in the middle. Raksaki with a brilliant run, marauding into the box, and eventually Raggett slides in to make the challenge. Pack then had to be careful, forcing Raksaki back towards the dead ball line. Pack uses his experience to win the ball back cleverly, and Portsmouth very calm in possession as they move up through the defensive third towards the halfway line. It's Karoma on the near side touchline. It was though the first real sight that we've had, David Codley, of young Jezza and Raksaki getting the chance to run at the Portsmouth back four.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he scored in his debut, didn't he, against Plymouth, and as soon as he won possession there, you could see Portsmouth just flooding back, knowing that they've got to stop him. He's the main threat for them.
A couple of goals this season for the Crystal Palace loanee. Good tackle from the number 4 for Charlton. Dobson again on the halfway line, a very popular figure here. He swept the fans Player of the Year award last season with more than 3/4 of the vote. He's a tenacious sort of player, the kind of player that you want in your side. Long ball again from Griffiths, the goalkeeper, high up towards Bishop, who with his height and physicality, much like Jayden Stockley, is an obvious target. The 2 number 9s playing at opposite ends of the field, of course. And Sessegnon up towards the halfway line for Charlton to find Corey Blackett-Taylor. Infield to Fraser, immediately crossfield, pings that diagonal ball left to right. Too much on it, just a little too much on it for Raksaki, who got a touch on the ball but couldn't get it under control. Portsmouth throw in the left back position. It's a really engaging watch though, this one, and a good atmosphere at the Valley, despite it being pretty sparse, I have to say, in the home sections, and it is being helped by the Close to 3,000 travelling supporters tonight, and Portsmouth do tend to travel in numbers, and you'll know that from your playing days, David Conley, but that is impressive.
It is, yeah, they've absolutely packed it out. And that's a sign as well that they're going well. They come in their droves anyway, but especially when you're playing well, everyone just wants to come home anyway.
All on their feet behind that goal to the right-hand side. The other three sides of the ground are all connected together. Here is Egbo for Charlton, bursting into opposition territory, gets the return ball from Raksaki, controls 25 yards from goal, angle against him, he's got turquoise away shirts surrounding him. Stockley, that's a ball that was aimed towards the far side, a high crossfield pass towards Blackett-Taylor, then a tangle of legs in midfield, and Charlton win it back, floated forward by Dobson, high towards Stockley, good header away by Raggett, a good covering header there, and cushion towards the near side touchline, and again Robertson able to drift forward almost nonchalantly in possession for Portsmouth. But two sides who look well drilled, well organised in the early stages, and actually we talked a lot about Portsmouth, but Ben Garner has talked about building blocks for Charlton, and it hasn't been a great start, but they are 3 unbeaten.
Yeah, that's right, yeah. And really good victory against Exeter at the weekend. That will help him. Just look at Jamie Stockley. Raggett knows that he's going to be pulling on the diagonal. He's brilliant in the air, so they've got to make sure they pick up those. If they don't win the first ball, pick up the second ball.
Ben Garner's Swindon side developed a reputation for attractive attacking football, and that is what he is tasked with bringing to Charlton, who have been a club where the atmosphere has not always been great this season. There are supporters who aren't too happy with the club at board level and the owner. Here is Blackett-Taylor on the halfway line, collecting possession, immediately looking to drive forward on the attack. He's hugging that touchline, back towards Sessegnon now, and just shy of the halfway line is O'Connell, and O'Connell from the lip of the centre circle will play it square to Innes. Innes angles the pass out to the near side, and Egbo back to Innes again. Charlton enjoying possession in their red shirts, white shorts and red socks, traditional home colours. Fraser left of centre, out to the left again, the far side, and Blackett-Taylor, Stockley into the middle. Blackett-Taylor gets beyond the defender, tries a cross, and Ogilvie on the slide blocks it at the expense of a Charlton corner. It's Charlton 0, Portsmouth 0, live on Talksport 2, 15 minutes gone.
Yeah, two Pompey fullbacks defended well, haven't they? Blackett-Taylor went to the byline and Ogilvie matched him, had to go to ground, and he has conceded a corner, but nonetheless stopped the cross coming in. And when you've got Jayden Stockley in there, that's really important. Let's see what they've got though on these corners, what sort of routine they've got planned.
Fraser will take it. Good player for set pieces, Scott Fraser. Far side of the field, it'll be a left-footed out-swinging delivery. He's waved his hands up into the air. Is that some sort of signal?
Yeah, I guess so.
Plenty of movement inside the box, and Portsmouth have brought everybody back. They've sent the centre-halves forward of Charlton. It's going to be Fraser after a long delay to take this, and he's got two arms up into the air now, floats in the corner, high looping towards the back post, and Innes was there to try and whack it back across goal, first time right-footed on the volley. He did that, it took a deflection off Morrison, and Charlton win their second corner in quick succession in front of the away end, the Jimmy Seed stand.
Yeah, it was hard to see exactly what the routine was there in terms of, the signals, and basically it was just punted towards the back post, and Innes did well just to keep it alive.
And Fraser and Charlie Kirk have gone over to the near side this time, both left-footed, albeit Kirk appears to be shaping up to take this square and short towards Fraser. We'll see though. Kirk, one arm up into the air, does take it short to Fraser. Fraser with a better angle for delivery, left-footed in, swinging ball, headed in. Well, the set piece pays off. Ryan Innes, the centre half of the back post, stomping header beyond the goalkeeper, and Charlton lead playoff bound Portsmouth by a goal to 0.
Well, it's a brilliant ball in. Fantastic, take the corner short. It's a wonderful in-swinging delivery, and Innes climbs high, hits it down into the ground beyond the Portsmouth keeper. Couldn't do much about it from about 5 yards out, 6 yards out. Unexpected because Portsmouth had a lot of the play, but that's what happens. You get to the byline, you win a corner, you keep it alive, get a set piece from the other side, and once you get your delivery right, you've always got a chance.
6 yards out, header into the ground, no chance for the goalkeeper. Ryan Innes with his first goal of the season. Charlton 1, Portsmouth 0 on Talksport 2. And David Connolly, well, it was telegraphed, wasn't it, as a training ground routine. They made no secret of that, Charlton, with an almost prolonged build-up to those back-to-back corners. And we mentioned Scott Fraser, who can be really dangerous with that delivery. and it was clearly something they've been working on this week.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, they seemed to load the back post. That was the area they were trying to hit from both sides, and maybe that was why I spotted a little weakness there from Portsmouth, maybe.
And Portsmouth will feel, Danny Cowley will feel, that the goal has come against the run of play, standing just on the edge of his technical area as Bishop brings the ball down midway inside Charlton territory, hooks it over his shoulder high towards Dale. Dale controls down on the far side, the right on the Portsmouth touchline, and wins a throw in front of that Alan Kirbyshly stands.
He's been bright,
goal down,
hasn't he? He's been bright, Owen Dale, really bright on the ball.
He has, and it was Portsmouth who looked like they were making all of the early running, but Charlton, who are looking to further that mini unbeaten run that they've got going on at the moment and continue that run maybe towards the top six, are the side who lead it 1-0. And now Blackett-Taylor breaking inside left channel. He's got support left and right. Kirk is left, far side of the field. He's fouled by Blackett-Taylor. Kirk has only got Stockley to aim for in the penalty area. No need to force the issue. Charlton go back towards the halfway line. Now Egbo out to the near side, and Raksaki's good first touch, takes midfield, drives away from Robertson. Pack sliding in to make a tackle at the expense of, well, it's a goal kick that's been given. And look for a second like Charlton might get themselves another corner. And actually, Dave, it's worth saying as well, a lot of height in this Portsmouth side from a defensive point of view, but plenty of height in the Charlton team too. And Innes is the one who you'd probably look at as one of the biggest dangers, but will Danny Cowley be disappointed with the defending? Well,
I mean, possibly. Look, he got up really well. Excellent ball in, wasn't it, from Scott Fraser, and it's always hard to defend those sort of in-swinging deliveries, and they are a big team. Even Dobson in the middle of the park is huge. Stockley, obviously.
Kirk as well. And Charlton with a spirited display so far. It has paid off for them, and they are a goal to the good. Much needed win over Exeter last Tuesday night, their first in 9 league matches. Only 3 wins all season coming into tonight from their 13 games, but it's amazing what a victory can do for you. And it's worth saying, as we mentioned at the top of the programme, it's worth reiterating, unbeaten in League One at the Valley this season. In fact, unbeaten in all competitions.
Well, just a couple of giveaways here from Portsmouth. The first one from Marlon Pack in the middle of the park, very unlike him, you know, a little bit sloppy, and then Robertson trying to find Ben Scarlett down the line, easily cut out. So maybe the goal against has just knocked them off their stride a little bit, Portsmouth, as you'd expect.
Robertson's got the ball in the left back position for Portsmouth. He'll take a throw up towards the halfway line. It was hurled at the chest of Bishop, who brings it down eventually back towards Robertson, left back position. And now here's Raggett on the edge of his own penalty area. Charlton Athletic 1, Portsmouth 0 on Talksport 2. As Morrison drives the ball high downfield, there was already a foul on Ogilvie, and the referee had given the free kick, and Portsmouth will have it down in their right back position. John Busby is the referee tonight, a late replacement for Dean Whitestone, who was originally announced as the match referee, but it's John Busby in charge today. And here comes Charlton on the defensive now, with Portsmouth in possession. Griffiths, the goalkeeper, all in grey. Hardly had a touch, the goalkeeper, other than to pick the ball out of the back of his net. A towering header clear by Owen O'Connell. And the Charlton fans who are here tonight, and there are lots of empty seats, are thoroughly enjoying what they're seeing beneath the floodlights. Ogilvie, halfway, back to Morrison again. Infield to Pack, Pack calling for possession, and Pack strokes it left and further square towards Raggett. Raggett, the former Lincoln City player, that was where he really made his name when Danny Cowley and he were both at the club. The year they were promoted from non-league back to the EFL, and they had a wonderful run in the FA Cup that season too. Raggett out to the near side, and Robertson right on the halfway line in between the two dugouts. Back to Raggett again. And Charlton very much a 4-4-2, just like Portsmouth. 2 backs of 4, and then the strikers ahead of them. And their shape looks good so far. As Sessegnon goes back to goalkeeper Wallacott, his clearance is sliced, a risky clearance. It was a bouncing ball towards him. The clearance reaches the edge of the penalty area. Innes nods it further upfield, the Charlton goal scorer, and Charlton continue in possession with Dobson finding Egbo the right back. Egbo's driven ball high over the head of Stockley, the captain, and through to Griffiths.
Yeah, just needed to try and drop that into the front there, Egbo, but I don't think they'll mind too much. They've dropped off, as you say, in this sort of 4-4-2 shape, and just saying to Portsmouth, come on in, can you work us and break us down? And at the minute, defending pretty well, Charlton.
Not often you see two sides lining up with a traditional 4-4-2, David Conley, although Owen Dale seems to have a slightly different role, doesn't he?
Yeah, I think Portsmouth fans have been screaming out for two up top for a number of seasons. You know, under Kenny Jackett, he maybe felt he didn't have two strikers. He'd often play one up top, and at times, you know, they'll be screaming saying we need another striker, and so it's no surprise that Pompey had gone with two, I don't think. Not this season anyway, because I think the fans really wanted it.
Lovely sweeping pass over the halfway line by Innes to Raksaki, right wing position for Charlton. Near side of the field as we look at it, back towards Innes again. And Charlton do look a side who have picked up in terms of confidence in recent weeks. That win over Exeter that we mentioned, and a couple of draws before that in the league. Innes once more just shy of the halfway line. Turns back and plays it square to O'Connell, who joined in the summer from Rochdale. Now Sessegnon out on the halfway line on the far side of the field, gets it back from Corey Blackett-Taylor, and suddenly it's Charlton who are seeing much more of the ball midway through the first half, and leading as they are by a goal to nil. The header away by Robertson for Portsmouth to the halfway line, and now Karoma skips away from the challenge of Dobson and races towards the edge of the box, threads it through into the penalty area for Scarlett. Scarlett trying to first time cross towards Bishop, well blocked off of the near post by O'Connell, and it's out of play for a Portsmouth corner.
Yeah, he was just on the stretch. I think the pass, the idea was right. A straight pass, diagonal run from Scarlett into the box. There was just a little bit too much pace on the pass from Karoma. It meant Scarlett had to slide in just to try and wrap his foot around it and get it back into the 6-yard box. But it's a good break there from and block from Charlton.
Raggett and Morrison both forward. And of course, Bishop is lurking as well at the far post. Quartet of Portsmouth players in those turquoise away shirts. They're a goal down. They have a corner in front of the north stand, that two-tiered stand which is got plenty of home supporters in it. Whipped in by Dale, high to the far post, flicked away, a crucial header by O'Connell, skimming off the top of his head, and the ball will be collected by Sessegnon, who immediately looks long high upfield towards Blackett-Taylor. Pack was the covering defender for Portsmouth, and now here's Dale, who flicks the ball out of his feet very neatly, looks lively every time he comes forward, races towards the penalty area, onto his right foot, thought about a curling shot, goes back to Morel, who doesn't score many. Morel from the edge of the D, faced up by a red shirt, so switches the play left to Robertson. Robertson with a great cross, high to the far post. Portsmouth on a penalty. Scarlett went down. Referee says play on. Karoma's cross this time, deflected behind for a corner, but Portsmouth are furious, and there are 2 or 3 players now surrounding the referee, John Busby, who is adamant that is not a spot kick.
Well, I tell you what, it's a superb ball in from Robertson. It looked like Dane Scarlett might have had his shirt tugged here by O'Connell, the centre half. Portsmouth players furious. Danny Cowley down on the sideline, the fourth official.
Danny Cowley raging and marching up the touchline to speak to the fourth official. And Portsmouth will get a corner out of it. A good spell of pressure as they seek an equaliser in the game. 26 minutes in. The 2 League One sides in action in the Papa John's Trophy for you tomorrow night on Talksport 2 as we bring you commentary of Cambridge against Ipswich at 7 o'clock. They're into the Championship on Wednesday for Coventry against Sheffield United, again live on Talksport 2. So it's another Portsmouth corner from that far side this time as we look at it. And it's going to be Marlon Pack to deliver, right-footed high, out-swinging, headed away by Jayden Stockley, up towards the corner of the penalty area on the near side. Portsmouth potentially still on the attack. It's with Karoma. Karoma trying to dazzle Fraser, but has to go back to the halfway line under some pressure. And Morel will steer it all the way back to the goalkeeper. And Charlton pushed upfield very quickly and very efficiently, and the corner was defended well.
Absolutely.
And Jojo Wallacott, the goalkeeper, has not had a great deal to do so far. But it has been a strange game, really, because I still think Portsmouth will feel they're on the balance of play. There shouldn't be a goal down.
Well, absolutely. They started really, really well. You know, maybe the goal just deflated them a little bit, but
plenty of time left to work themselves back into the match. Here is Karoma, early cross from the near side of the left. It takes a deflection off Dobson falls for his opposite number, Robertson, whose cross thunders off Dobson, who was immediately tracking back, looking to atone for what wasn't really a mistake, but an unfortunate first touch. And it's out of play again for another Portsmouth corner. The corner count cranking up, but they haven't really threatened from any of them so far. Again, Raggett and Morrison among those lurking the penalty area. Scarlett and Ogilvie and Bishop there too. It will be Clark Robertson's left-footed out-swinging delivery, poor, and cleared away at the near post, and then over his shoulder by Blackett-Taylor, high up into the sky. The ball drops in the centre circle, cushioned header from the bearded pack, left to Dale with plenty of space to go cross-field on a driven pass. It's collected by Morrison in an unfamiliar position, and he's dispossessed, and Charlton on the counter-attack. It's Corey Blackett-Taylor racing over the halfway line, attacking the edge of the box. Sessegnon on the underlap. Blackett-Taylor skips in field, shooting position, goes for goal, and drills it low, wide with his right foot. It was a very fleet-footed counter-attack though, and Blackett-Taylor not too far off hitting the target.
Yeah, they've looked to threaten the counter though, haven't they? I mean, they've got pace wide, certainly, and Blackett-Taylor cut in field from that left-hand side. Just dragged his shot past the near post, and I mean, they have looked threatening at times, haven't they? Blackett-Taylor on one side and Raksaki on the other.
A couple of goals this season for Corey Blackett-Taylor, who's playing as the left winger in that Charlton midfield four tonight, and Packers tug back Jezerin Raksaki, and that will be a yellow card for Marlon Pack and a free kick for Charlton in their right wing position on the near side of the field and very much within crossing range.
Yeah, we were praising Marlon Pack, weren't we, pre-game, but he's had a couple of needless giveaways in possession in his own half, and he's paid the price for that one. Cost him a yellow.
Apologies if our effects might pick up any bad language from the supporters around us. We are packed in here in the commentary position in the West Stand, and we've got a good view here as Charlton look to make some more headway from a set piece. It was a corner kick routine involving both Kirk and Fraser that led to the header from Innes for the opening goal, and now with half an hour gone, they're potentially a position where they can threaten to double their lead. Free kick about 10 yards from the corner of the penalty area, near side the right, and virtually everybody forward for Charlton again. It's Kirk with the delivery this time, right-footed, and headed away by Pack from the edge of the box. It's come back to Egbo, will hang one up high towards Innes, who'd stayed forward the goal scorer. Nodded away by Morrison this time, flicked further clear by Pack, a clever header, angled towards the halfway line. He knew what he was doing with that, and Scarlett has steered the ball left to Karoma. Karoma inside left channel, waiting for the runners in front of him, and then plays a poor pass and sees intercepted by Fraser, and Charlton on the counter. Ball played through to Blackett-Taylor, he's in on goal. Blackett-Taylor for two! It is two! What a counter-attack from Charlton Athletic! They were so quick from back to front. Portsmouth sloppy defensively and punished at the Valley, but Charlton are producing some of their best football of the season so far. Charlton Athletic 2, Portsmouth 0.
Well, he had a heavy touch just before he's about to shoot, and you just thought maybe the goalkeeper was going to come and close this down, but this comes from a really costly error from Josh Karoma. He's on the left wing for Portsmouth. He can actually slip the ball into Dane Scarlett. Instead he tries another crossfield, a risky ball. It's cut out from Charlton. Blackett-Taylor's put away, and he finishes it so well, strokes it past the goalkeeper. Griffiths at the near post, lovely finish,
and a great ball through to him by Charlie Kirk
again. Yeah,
who picked the pass, and the cheers from the Charlton fans on three sides of the ground, and nobody expected this, David Connolly, but you have to say Portsmouth have been outwitted so far really by Charlton.
Well, we mentioned just a moment ago about the pace they possess out wide and the threat they are on the counter. Both those goals coming in front of the Pompey fans as well.
There's a very calm finish from Corey Blackett-Taylor, who I've seen play for Tranmere in the past. He was an Aston Villa youth player. And Charlton clear high and long downfield, and it's a covering header away by Robertson for Portsmouth, but they're under pressure here, Portsmouth, as Charlton come forward again. Dobson couldn't get the return ball though from Raksaki, and of course Danny Cowley will be very keen here that his side don't panic and concede another goal. It's a panic clearance by Raggett, straight out of play, and those 3,000 away supporters to the right hand side are much quieter now and are starting to be outsung by the home fans, and understandably the Portsmouth supporters are getting increasingly frustrated. Your former club on the ropes, David Connolly.
Yeah, because this time it's Sean Raggett who, look, to be honest, he receives a bad pass to him. He can't really go in there, can't go back to his goalkeeper, and in the end he just kicks it off the pitch for a Charlton throw, and that's the frustration from the Pompey fans.
Charlton 2, Portsmouth 0. Little flick by Kirk down the right, tried to dink it over the head of the defender towards Egbo, who'd made the overlapping run from right full-back, but out of play it goes, and it's a Portsmouth throw in their left-back position, almost right in front of where we're sitting. Crowd are nice and close to the pitch here at the Valley. Robertson's throw, headed downfield by Egbo for Charlton in reply, and now clipped up into the air by Morrell, slightly sliced out towards the far side, the right. Blackett-Taylor, who's worked with such great tenacity so far, will shepherd the ball out of play and win Charlton a throw. And I guess one player's misfortune, Dave, is another player's opportunity. Miles Leeburn is out injured, the top scorer. Corey Blackett-Taylor brought into the side tonight. He's made his point, hasn't he?
He has, certainly has. And it was a really calm finish, wasn't it? Just as he was racing away, the ball just got caught under his feet. He had another touch, which I don't think was intended, and you thought, right, he's going to take him into the keeper here, but that pace, I think, just created a bit of doubt with Griffiths, and he thought, I can't really come for this. Stayed back close to his goal, and in the end he had a bit more time than he thought just to stroke it past him. Really nice finish, wasn't it, at the near post?
Calm in the end, absolutely. As you say, stroked under the goalkeeper's legs. And Corey Blackett-Taylor's third goal of the season, and things looking up for Charlton as they seek their fourth win of the League One campaign. They couldn't move into the playoffs tonight, but they could get within a couple of points of the top six ahead of the weekend, and Portsmouth, whatever happens, will still have a couple of games in hand. But they have been poor tonight, really, particularly since conceding the opening goal, and now they're 2 down with 10 minutes of the first half remaining, and Charlton are first to every second ball, and particularly in central midfield they're absolutely dominating. Dobson and Fraser winning everything, Dave.
Well, they are, but it's because it's another loose pass from Morrell. I mean, it's almost like he's got to play it safe side. Instead he plays it 50-50. He just invites a challenge from Dobson, and they win the ball back again.
Here is O'Connell, midway inside his own half. Out to Settignon, who rolls it back to the goalkeeper first time. Wallacott will clear under a little bit of pressure from Scarlett, high towards the halfway line. Downward header from Robertson. Picked up, retrieved cleverly by Fraser. Floated forward towards Stockley, and now Raksaki. Raksaki to the penalty area, looking dangerous, twisting, turning. Couldn't get beyond Morrison, though. And the loose ball wouldn't fall for Charlie Kirk. And now Portsmouth can counter themselves. Morrell over the halfway line to Dale. Dale's got space on the far side, the right. Sessegnon trying to keep up with him, and Dale tried a little flick which didn't come off. Eventually does knock the ball infield towards Morrell. Morrell looked like he was fouled by Dobson. Danny Cowley not happy. Play goes on. Raksaki is still down on the turf on the edge of the Portsmouth box, and are Charlton going to put the ball out of play here? I wonder. They are. They don't have to. It's not a head injury, but Raksaki, their teammate, is maybe going to need some treatment, and the referee John Busby has stopped the game. But it has been an intriguing first 36 minutes tonight on Talksport 2. Charlton 2, Portsmouth 0, and I don't think anybody expected the game to be where it has got to, David Conn.
No, that's right, and I think one thing you say, the Portsmouth fullbacks like to venture forward, don't they? And you would say with the pace that Charlton possess away from home, you might have maybe just kept them in a little bit tighter towards the two centre halves, because two centre halves, as great as they are when everything's in front of you, because they're big and strong and powerful, against pace, they're kind of struggling a little bit, and they might have just needed the likes of Ogilvie and Robertson just a little bit closer to them.
And Charlton would move up to a 10th position in the League One table as things stand. Portsmouth would drop a place on goal difference below Peterborough down to 5th. Danny Cowley's got the chance here to call over his Portsmouth players, as has Ben Garner, the Charlton boss, for a sort of mini team talk late in the first half here, with Raksaki receiving some treatment. What will be the kind of vague instructions, do you think, at this point?
Well, I mean, it's interesting because Danny takes every opportunity to either go on the pitch and talk to his players or bring them over, and Ben Garner, might talk to one or two, but the rest of them are out on the pitch. I'm sure he'll be saying, look, we've stepped off. It looks like to me the Portsmouth players have lost a little bit of confidence. Their ball retention has been poor, certainly since the first goal went in. It's given Charlton that little bit of initiative, hasn't it? Because suddenly now, they're able to break passes, there's some bad passes, they've got more control of the game. Obviously 2 good goals, and I mean, it's going to be a fascinating second half, that's for sure.
Well, League One is really turning into something fascinating once again this season. If you love your League One football, you will love Friday nights on Talksport 2. 8 o'clock kickoff for Ipswich in second against Paul Warne's Derby, who are only a point off the playoff spots, with games in hand as well. Live commentary from Portman Road. Huge crowd expected for that one. And on Sunday, Watford against Luton in a classic derby between the side from Hertfordshire and the side from Bedfordshire, noon on Sunday. And Saturday lunchtime, it's worth saying as well, a Lancashire derby, a Lancashire hot pot for your Saturday lunchtime. Blackpool against Preston North End on Talksport 2, all part of our game day coverage, which sees us also bring you commentary of Everton against Crystal Palace from the Premier League at 3 on Saturday. Raksaki back on his feet, treatment over, game back underway. 38.5 gone. Charlton 2, Portsmouth 0. A towering header from Morrison forward on the halfway line. It's thumped further clear though by Sessegnon for Charlton. Sessegnon knocks the ball down the left channel, and it's got too much on it surely here for Blackett-Taylor or Kirk. Goalkeeper Griffiths is there to it first. It's a long clearance from Griffiths that reaches the head of the Fulham loanee Sessegnon again, and Sessegnon nods it out of play. Portsmouth throw 10 yards shy of the halfway line, and it's Connor Ogilvie, the former Gillingham player, who will take it. And it has become rather subdued in that away end to the right, which was absolutely bouncing before the game started, but understandably much quieter now. Portsmouth with a lot of work to do in the game. It's a risky clearance upfield from Griffiths, the goalkeeper, and Robertson has tried to knock it forward first time and has only succeeded in giving it away. Fraser, tangle of legs in midfield with Morel. Portsmouth come out on top. Karoma's pass inside left channel. Scarlett running onto it. Only really Bishop in the middle. Morel at the far post. Scarlett into the box, right-footed, cross towards the far post, towards Morel. It was a clever interception and a crucial one from Owen O'Connell. Not for the first time tonight. Portsmouth get it back, and maybe they can come forward on the attack. Ball is played infield to Pack. 35 yards out right of centre. Square ball to Karoma. Looks for the turn of Dale. Dale through the legs of one Charlton player, then blocked off and fouled by Blackett-Taylor, and a free kick for Portsmouth here in a very dangerous position. 25 yards from goal, right of centre, and terrific work from Owen Dale.
Yeah, he's been sharp, hasn't he? Really sharp. Little Cruyff turn to take him away, and then he got there in front of Blackett-Taylor. Let's see if they can get something or make something of this. I would go back to Dane Scarlett as he again attacks down this left hand side of the box. He's got to maybe get his eyes up and spot another runner. He had Morel, who's completely free on the right hand side of the box. He could have slipped it to him. We saw sort of Darwin Núñez do that the other day, didn't we, for Liverpool against Man City, where again he's just got to get his eyes up and have a look across the box and be someone else in a better position. That was almost a carbon copy situation there.
Yes, it was a 3-on-1 for Núñez at the weekend. Almost inexplicably failed to see the teammates around him. Now, will Pack think about going for goal here from this kind of range, or do you whip it in? It's a tall wall he's got. He's got to get it up and over if he's going that side. Or he goes over the goalkeeper side, but it wouldn't surprise me if he went for goal. 2 men in the Charlton wall, 25 yards out towards the right edge of the penalty area. Pack does go for goal, and Pack hits the side netting. Head in hands, and ironic cheers from the Charlton supporters, but that will have had one or two with hearts in mouths around the ground. It stays Charlton 2, Portsmouth 0.
Now when you're that side, right hand side of the box, and you're a right footer and you're trying to go around the wall and score at the near post, I mean, it is a tough skill to get it around. He didn't quite bend it back in time. That's why it brushed off the netting at the near.
We are in the 42nd minute of the game. All around the ground there are spectators filing towards the concourse areas ahead of the half-time whistle. Flicked downfield by Stockley for Charlton. Poor clearance, comes back to Stockley, edge of the box, thought about shooting, wide to Raksaki in the penalty area, joined by two. Raksaki twisting, turning, didn't get the cross in quickly enough, you feel, dallied in possession. That allowed Robertson to poke it from beneath his legs and out of play for a Charlton corner near side.
Yeah, I mean, too many unforced errors for Portsmouth. Too many players now. Their confidence seems to have gone a little bit, and that Portsmouth back line has got the Pompey fans behind them, and you can tell they're not happy. And if I was them, I'd maybe just be clearing my lines, not trying to play my way out, especially when you're a little bit low in confidence. Their game's gone at the minute.
Kirk takes the corner short to Fraser, back to Kirk, dead ball line. Kirk flicks in a high cross deep to the far post. It's nodded down, only half cleared, hooked away by Dale, takes a ricochet, still a scramble inside the 18-yard box. Eventually it's Pack who just puts his foot through it. Instead, out of play. Charlton throw 10 yards from the corner flag, and now the Valley is really starting to reverberate with some noise. It may be a comparatively small crowd tonight in the context of a stadium that holds 27,000 or so, but noise levels are starting to pick up as Charlton look to score a third goal of the game.
It was a bright corner, wasn't it? Took it short. Again, Kirk at the heart of things. He's looked really, really good so far.
That Kirk and Fraser combination from set pieces has proved a potent one already tonight. Headed by Innes, just inside the Portsmouth half. Nodded down towards Raksaki. Raksaki controls. Maraud's towards the penalty area. Shoots! Good save by Griffiths. A fierce shot from Raksaki, the very talented and tricky youngster, and repelled by the goalkeeper. Really good stop, because he would have seen that late, David Connolly.
Yeah, absolutely. He's on this right-hand side of the box. Lovely little right foot step over. Came in onto his left foot and just wrapped his foot around this towards the near post, actually. But it's a good height, shoulder height. The keeper just palmed it away.
And now it's Kirk all alone on the near side. Fraser in relatively close attention, but Kirk, 2 arms up into the air, is surely going to take this latest Charlton corner, their 4th of the game. Right-footed, driven high, out-swinging towards the far post. Stockley climbs, but this time he's all over the back of Raggett, and the free kick is given to Portsmouth. But Ben Garner, I think, will be delighted with this first half.
Thrilled. He will be absolutely thrilled. Yep. They've been really bright. I mean, their corners, they seem to be targeting that back post area, and their delivery's been good. I mean, make no mistake, Pompey started well, really, really bright, and I think just the first goal was really not their confidence, and the second one shortly after that. There's been so many unforced errors and turnovers from Portsmouth.
Into the final 45 seconds of normal time in the first half. And Charlton 2 goals to the good. There's a foul on Fraser, and they've all worked really hard all around the field, Charlton Athletic. Those 2 central midfielders have been dogged and determined, but it's been a workmanlike display, and a display that has seen them look very well organised in this first half too.
Absolutely, yeah. Now they're taking their time with things. I mean, I don't think the Charlton manager is too happy, because I think the 4th official has been getting on to the Charlton players to hurry up and take things early. Same with the referee, get the ball in play. But 2-0 up, close to half time, they're within their rights to take their time.
The 4th official is going to put that electronic board up into the air in just a moment as Stockley flicks the ball down the far side touchline. Sessegnon's got to it. 3 minutes of added time in the first half. Sessegnon far side wins another corner for Charlton, their 5th of the game so far, in between the Alan Kirbishley and Jimmy Seed stands. And Charlton have looked a threat from set plays. The opening goal came from a situation like that Portsmouth couldn't deal with. And again, it's those 2, Kirk and Fraser, who go across to the far side towards the corner flag, and this time it's Fraser who is standing over it. Innes and O'Connell, Stockley all forward. Blackett-Taylor lurking as well, as is Dobson. And Fraser, left-footed, out-swinging, high towards the penalty spot. Innes looking to climb, flicked away from him by Raggett. The loose ball drops on the near side for Sessegnon. Sessegnon wearing number 2, headed for the dead ball line initially, then checks back, finds Egbo. Egbo's first time, deep cross, headed away, flicked clear by Scarlett. Not the best of headers. It's come back to Blackett-Taylor. Blackett-Taylor skins Scarlett, drills into the penalty area, tries to pull it back across, and he was block tackled by Pack at the last moment, so got nothing really on the pullback. And Portsmouth get it away, but I'm sure that Danny Cowley, as we approach the halfway mark in the 3 added minutes, cannot wait to get his Portsmouth players into the dressing room.
Yeah, that's brilliant from Blackett-Taylor, because Dane Scarlett with a clearing header out to the sideline, and then he knows it's not a great header. He's got to go and close the ball down quickly, because it's Blackett-Taylor on the ball. He fakes the cross, and because he goes so quickly, Scarlett, he can't put the brakes on. Blackett-Taylor skips past him, and I think he just slipped as he was trying to get that cross in. That was unlucky.
Blackett-Taylor again, dead ball line, looks really dangerous, pace to burn, whips in across towards Kirk, cleared away in front of him by Raggett. Kirk was going to take a swing at that with his left foot, almost motioned to do so. Loose ball has fallen for Dobson on the edge of the penalty area. Slide tackle, block tackle by Morrison. Not away yet though for Portsmouth. Raksaki in the box, angled tight, looks to go for goal. Couple of step overs, and then again maybe makes the wrong decision. It's a clearance though that is poor from Karoma. Portsmouth fans moaning and groaning behind that goal, because Charlton are on the attack yet again. This time Pack gets in front of Egbo. Pack drives the ball towards the safety of the centre circle. Scarlett, converged upon by 3 red shirts, is fouled, and Portsmouth had a free kick. But Charlton at this stage don't really want the first half to end, really.
No, what you would say, as well as the 2 wingers have done, and Raksaki's had a lot of the ball, and he just had a good strike, didn't he, with his left foot coming in. But then he's facing up his man 1v1, just a little bit quicker. Their space was there to attack the line. Just go and do it. but he always seems to want to get the ball back onto his left foot.
20 seconds of the first half to go. A really entertaining first half here on your home of the EFL, Talksport 2. The football never stops. Monday night with us tonight. Forward by Griffiths, the Portsmouth goalkeeper, deep into opposition territory. It's taken up by Dale, who sprinted into the box trying to continue momentum. Cleared away though by Sessegnon. Loose ball is retrieved by Pack. They roll it back to Morrison. Morrison drives in a right wing cross up towards Scarlett, headed away, and the offside flag is up, and that will do it. The referee blows the half-time whistle. Well, boos from some in the away section of the ground, away to our right, but loud cheers and a standing ovation from the Charlton Athletic supporters. Surely, perhaps their most impressive 45 minutes of the season so far. They deserve their 2-goal advantage despite Portsmouth looking promising in the early stages of the game. Charlton haven't really looked back since taking the lead 17 minutes in. It's Charlton who left the field to a standing ovation in the first half, looking to close the gap on the League One playoff places. The second half is underway, and Charlton playing from right to left towards that north stand of the ground where the home supporters are located. Charlton red shirts, white shorts and red socks, and Portsmouth playing from left to right towards that sold out away end behind the goal, the Jimmy Steed stand that houses 3,000 or so very loud Portsmouth supporters, albeit increasingly frustrated Portsmouth fans towards the end of that first half. And the away team in their change kit tonight, turquoise shirts with white sleeves, black shorts and turquoise socks. The ball is sent back to the Charlton goalkeeper Wallacott, Egbo, Innes, O'Connell and Sessegnon, the defenders in front of him, and Dobson and Fraser the midfield two, Raksaki and Kirk Raksaki and Blackett-Taylor the wingers, with Kirk and Stockley up front. The Charlton subs: McGilvray the goalkeeper, Clare, McGrandles, Morgan, Payne, Campbell and Anike, who has only just come back from injury. And for Portsmouth, Griffiths is the goalkeeper, with Ogilvie, Swanson, Robertson and Raggett in the back four. Dale, Pack, Morrell and Jacobs in midfield. Scarlett and Bishop, the two up front. I'll give you the Portsmouth subs in a moment as Stockley flicks the ball into the penalty area for Charlton, away to the left-hand side, and Kirk was looking to make a dangerous late run into the box. Portsmouth smuggle it away. They're 2-0 down, David Connolly. What do they do to get back into the game in the second half?
Well, what they have done is what Norwich did the other night against Watford. They changed their fullbacks over, so Ogilvie is now playing left back. He was right back in the first half, and obviously Swanson's come on and he's playing right back. Let's see if those two can handle the two Charlton wingers.
Well, Conor Ogilvie is a very versatile player, and that helps out Danny Cowley, equally capable of playing on both flanks. And as you say, Clark Robertson has slotted into his more familiar centre-half position. Michael Jacobs has gone out to the left wing. And so Portsmouth with work to do. Griffiths, the goalkeeper, beneath the floodlights here. Still very mild here at the Valley. It's certainly not too chilly. Jacob looking to drive forward and attack the edge of the penalty area, onto his right side. White go for the shot here, and he does, and it's squeezed between two Charlton legs, and it's gone behind for a goal kick. I thought it might have taken the deflection on its way through. Maybe Jacobs just slightly mishit the shot because the referee has signalled for a goal kick, but a warning early on in the second half for Charlton, and a 2-0 advantage, David Connolly, I guess can sometimes be a potentially perilous one, because one goal back for the away team and then suddenly the momentum changes.
Yeah, possibly. I mean, good run from Jacobs, wasn't it? Cutting in off that left, just trying to bend it into that far corner. Didn't quite test the keeper though.
In League One for a sixth successive season, Portsmouth, they've missed out on the playoffs twice since coming up from League Two. Close but not close enough, as Jacobs tried to thread the ball inside left channel towards the run of Scarlett. Portsmouth though on the attack with the former Arsenal youngster Swanson on the near side of the field. He joined Portsmouth this summer, having been at Arsenal since the age of 6. And now Raggett with a square pass to Robertson, 15-20 yards shy of the halfway line. Robertson forward to Morrell, the diminutive Welsh midfielder, the Welsh international. And now Griffiths, the goalkeeper again. Good press from Charlton, forcing Portsmouth deeper and deeper into their own territory. The goalkeeper's got a back pass to deal with once more. Has to hoist the clearance high downfield. Egbo's there to meet it with a great header. Now Fraser picks the ball up, central position, angles it wide left to Blackett-Taylor, who's looked dangerous all night, the man who got Charlton's second goal. Fraser whips it across, headed away by Raggett. Comes down to Dobson, a cushioned header. Ends up square into the path of Innes. And Charlton look the more streetwise side here. Ball into the box from Egbo is cleared away by Robertson. It was a simple clearance, and now Portsmouth maybe can counter. Pack has floated it high down the left, and Scarlett has kept it in on the far side touchline in front of the east stand. Ogilvie might reach the loose ball via deflection. Jacobs is there as well. Charlton managed the situation expertly, and Dobson with a good ball, 30 yards from the right to the near side the left, and Blackett-Taylor will drive forward and attack the defender Swanson into the penalty area now. Square for Kirk left-footed shot, takes a deflection, comes back up to Blackett-Taylor, the angle very tight, corner of the 6-yard box, footed from Swanson, and the goal kick is given by the referee. Ben Garner can't believe it, the Charlton head coach, arms outstretched, the head coach a long way down below us at the base of the main stand. It is a goal kick, but more good football from Charlton, who lead Portsmouth by 2-0.
Yeah, on the counter again. That starts with Dane Scarlett losing possession, almost in and around the box, and then Charlton break and they counter, and Blackett-Taylor, great awareness just to slip the pass to Charlie Kirk infield in the box. You just think, and he looked to the sky, he should have just controlled and hit it. Took too many touches, chance was gone.
Here is Kirk, left-hand edge of the centre circle. He's been a really impressive, imposing presence on this game, Charlie Kirk, so far. Another summer signing, the summer of last year rather, the summer of 2021, in his second season for the club, the former crew man. And the ball is picked up by Morrell for Portsmouth, just shy of the halfway line. He plays it square to Pack, out to the left, and Jacobs has had a good few touches since coming onto the field as a half-time substitute. Pack striding over the halfway line, looks for Jacobs again, jinks in between two red shirts and does well to win a free kick. The referee John Busby was in a good position to see it, and you can already see the influence of Michael Jacobs on the game early on.
Absolutely, yeah. It's important to be back fit, and as you say, got fantastic feet, to get his way out of trouble there and win inside a free kick.
He scored in his most recent appearance in the EFL Trophy, but as David Conley said, missed that frustrating 1-1 draw against Fleetwood, after which the Portsmouth boss Danny Cowley said his side simply were not clinical enough. They'll have to be clinical tonight as they look to work a way back into the game. But 2-0 down early in the second half. Morrell driving towards the corner of the box. You're with Talksport 2, your home of the EFL. And plenty more in terms of live commentaries to come from us this week. Almost every day this week, in fact. As Dobson tries to strive forward, but it's won back on the slide by Morrell. A really scrappy passage of play in the middle of the Charlton half, but it's got the Portsmouth fans behind the goal lively again. It's a full-blooded start to the second period from their team. Morrell collects possession all alone in a pocket of space on what is a very impressive surface here at the Valley, actually. Lush green and not really any markings or blemishes on it. Here's Morrell again, on the halfway line once more, the deepest of the Portsmouth midfield players. Inside left channel is Jacobs, out to the far side, the left wing, and Ogilvie, low ball in towards the near post. It is sliding in, pokes it behind for a corner, and there has been a bit of a momentum change early in the second half.
Yeah, I mean, they started this second half as they started the first half. Really, right. Really well. Terrific tempo to them. That was a nice early ball in from Ogilvie. Good defending from Charlton, and that is what the likes of Dane Scarlett want. Just need to keep this going now, Portsmouth, a little bit, get back in the game.
That's the voice of David Conley, former Portsmouth striker. And they've got a corner on the far side. Jacobs will take, right-footed in, swinging. Raggett tried to climb, it just missed his head. Darting right into the box, and it goes behind eventually for a goal kick to Charlton Athletic. Very strange the way the game has panned out, given Portsmouth's start. For the first 15 minutes or so, they looked very confident and flowed really well in attack, but haven't seemed to recover, or didn't seem to recover in the first half at least, until they got to the half-time whistle. They didn't recover from conceding that first goal. And Danny Cowley watching on from the near side touchline as Portsmouth come forward again with a lot more vigour than they showed for most of that first half. Dale goes down, wants a free kick, but he doesn't get it. And Charlton now on the counter-attack. Kirk out to the left and Blackett-Taylor. This is where they can be dangerous. Stockley lurking in the box. Blackett-Taylor goes infield. Right-footed shot! A screamer just over the bar. And the goalkeeper must have got a touch on that because the referee says corner.
Great save. I think this is from Griffiths. Blackett-Taylor cuts in from that left-hand side, tries to rifle this into the top corner, and Griffiths on the full stretch just tips this over the bar. Superb save.
Well, it was a rasping strike on his weaker side as well, and the goalkeeper got to it impressively. Top hand, the West Brom loanee, and they're on their feet behind the north stand of the ground, the covered end as they like to call it here at the Valley.
Well, you know what, if you term things in terms of end product, every time that they've countered Charlton, they've ended up with something, a strike at goal, a corner, you know, or even a goal themselves.
They've got real pace, haven't they? And it's hard for Portsmouth to manage at times. Charlton 2, Portsmouth 0. 10 minutes into the second half here beneath the floodlights. Really entertaining game. Fraser's corner, well taken by Griffiths at the near post. It was too close to the goalkeeper from Fraser on this occasion. Danny Cowley pondering. He's having words with Nicky Cowley, his brother and assistant, and I wonder whether Portsmouth are going to make another change before the hour mark. Crossfield ball from Morrell down towards the near side, the right, and Swanson too much on that, out of play. Tonight's attendance 13,456 with 2,374 on a Monday night up from the south coast, David.
Yeah, brilliant. And they've really added to it, haven't they? I mean, look, they'll be disappointed with that first 45 performance, especially how confidence just seemed to drain away from the players once they conceded that first goal. But they've started the second half well, Portsmouth, and maybe another change might help even more.
Well, they are on the road again at the weekend, Portsmouth at Forest Green. And Charlton likewise away from home at the weekend. They travel to Shrewsbury before a home game here against struggling MK Dons. Header from Sessegnon up towards the midway point of his own half. It's scooped up into the air by Jacobs. Rather clumsy ball forward and easy for O'Connell to deal with and cushion the header clear up towards the halfway line. Blackett-Taylor's been tormenting the Portsmouth defence throughout the game so far. His electric pace, and he seems to strain every sinew every time he darts forward, and he's just got too much of it for Portsmouth to handle at times.
Yeah. No, the two wide men for Charlton have been a real threat, make no mistake.
Raksaki on the far side and Blackett-Taylor we're having the pleasure of watching from the near side touchline. Our commentary position is in the upper tier of the West Stand, the very front row, and just to the right of the halfway line. Portsmouth are going to make a change in just a moment. Jay Mingy is stripped and ready to come on in that change kit for Portsmouth, so we'll see him onto the field very shortly as Danny Cowley looks for another response. But here's Scarlett, edge of the D, through the legs of the defender. Was he brought down? Referee says play on. Comes to Morrell, 25 yards out. He's certainly been fouled by Dobson. Free kick, dead centre, and within shooting range surely, David Connolly.
Yeah, I mean the touch from Morrell just gets away from him about 12 yards outside the box, and Dobson just dangles the leg, and he does bring it down. The action, I think, committed a foul on Dane Scarlett just moments before that and got away with it. I tell you what, you've just seen another replay of that save from Griffiths. That Blackett-Taylor strike was absolutely brilliant.
Glancing touch.
Yep. Tipped it over the bar. Destined for the top corner.
And he's a top young keeper. Only 21, Josh Griffiths. He's had loan spells at Lincoln and Cheltenham in the past as well to build up his experience, but it's a different challenge at Portsmouth.
Well, remember they had Gavin Bazunu and he didn't do too badly.
Absolutely. Moved just down the south coast to Southampton from Manchester City in the summer. Free kick Pompey, just over 25 yards from goal, dead centre. Jacobs and Pack over it. Jacobs will curl it right-footed, and it's well handled by Wallacott.
Oh, it's excellent. Up and over the wall, and he had to just dart across his line there, Wallacott. I mean, fair play to him. He didn't dive. He actually just side shuffled, and he actually caught it really well with two hands. He made that look a lot easier than it was.
I was just going to say, he made it look comfortable, didn't he, David Connolly? For sure. Here come Portsmouth again. Jacobs continuing to make an impact. Left wing cross, headed away at the near post by Innes, and stabbed up into the air by Stockley. But Charlton are having to do much more vigorous defending in the second half than they did for much of the first, as we are just shy of the hour mark. Terrific atmosphere at the Valley. As I say, it's about half full tonight, maybe just under. Here is Clark Robertson, 15 yards shy of the halfway line for Portsmouth, clipping the ball long up the touchline, the far side, the left towards Ogilvie. The covering defender, Egbo, is the favourite, gets to it. Egbo, who is a physical fullback and perfectly capable of dealing with that sort of confrontation on the field. Easy clearance in front of Ogilvie to halfway, but Portsmouth are seeing more and more of the possession, and you're absolutely right, the second half has begun exactly as the first did, really.
Yeah, they are really putting them under pressure here.
A bouncing ball forward reaches Jacobs, 30 yards from goal. Lovely backflip to find Bishop, who made a late run into the box. It was a challenge of 50-50 with Innes, and Bishop's touch was very heavy, and out of play for a goal kick to Charlton Athletic. We're going to see a double change for Portsmouth here. Not just Jay Mingy is coming onto the field, but very highly rated, the very impressive Ronan Curtis as well.
I just thought they'd be on by now, but maybe they're just pondering it again.
Well, they did delay, didn't they?
Yeah.
Mingy was initially going to come on himself, and then they had the free kick, which was saved by the goalkeeper. And now Curtis is ready to come on too. Lofted ball high up the middle by Jacobs. It's bouncing down towards Scarlett, and Charlton were struggling to deal with it there. Eventually O'Connell just rifles it out of play into the middle of the east stand for a throw. And cue, surely, Danny Cowley making another change. And is that Michael Jacobs has gone down on the far side, the Portsmouth player?
Well, it looks like it.
Well, that would be a real shame for him, because he's been actually quite a pivotal influence since coming on at half-time, but he is being treated. Portsmouth are certainly starting to probe David Connolly, but for you, still not testing the Charlton goalkeeper enough?
No, maybe not. I mean, I think they had that free kick on target, and that's about it, not too much else.
Ben Garner's side have had to defend well in this second period as they look for just their second win in 10 league matches, but more significantly, back-to-back league wins, which they are hunting for the first time this season, and that would be really significant for Charlton. I have to tell you, though, Charlton fans, it is just 2 clean sheets in League One so far this year. And Michael Jacobs is walking towards the near side. He looks like he should be able to continue, and so Danny Cowley will be able to make the changes that he wanted to make initially. Although, that said, David Connolly, I don't see Jay Mingy anymore. I wonder whether he's gone to sit back down in the dugout. It will just be Curtis to come on.
That's what it looks like. I mean, they did deliberate an awful lot. They did deliberate an awful lot, and I just wonder whether decision making. He does consult his staff a lot. Sometimes consensus can be a good thing and a bad thing, but he seemed to have made his mind. Initially it was Jay Mingy. He was the first one. He was the only one that was coming on. Then it was him and Curtis, but now it's just Ronan Curtis.
Well, Mingy had his kit on and everything, didn't he? But it's not him who's going to take to the field, and in fact it's a real shame for Jacobs. He's lasted 16-17 minutes in the game, having come on at half-time, but he's had to go off with injury, and Ronan Curtis, the Irishman, is onto the field. He's hit double figures at least in each of his 4 seasons at Portsmouth so far.
Well, he's the third. Yeah, sorry, Joe. He's the third winger now, playing down that left-hand side after Coroma coming off, and then Jacobs, now Curtis.
And it's flicked down towards Scarlett on the edge of the penalty area, who hooks it high into the box towards Curtis straight away. Got plenty of pace. Innes nods it behind. Another Portsmouth corner in front of those travelling fans. 3,000 on their feet, arms above their heads. There are blue and white Portsmouth flags behind the goal. They're vociferously urging the team forward, pumping their fists and clapping every time they get near that goal.
I tell you what, they've had a great bird's eye view of the game, because all the action has been in that goal.
That's very true. Both Charlton goals so far came at that end in the first half. Portsmouth haven't scored yet. Corner whipped in high, deep towards the far post, and Robertson heads it back across goal. Raggett climbing, can't get his head on it. Nodded away by Pack towards the edge of the penalty area, and then Dale with the curling shot over the top and over the bar, and a goal kick.
Oh, how can he go for goal from there? I mean, he's got the box loaded from the corner. You've just got to dink that ball back in, put it into the danger zone, in around the 6-yard box, anywhere close like that, centrally. That's a waste to go for goal from there.
Might be a nervy final 27 minutes or so plus stoppage time for the Charlton Athletic supporters. No sign of imminent activity on the Charlton bench just yet, though Chukwuemeka has been warming up, having scored his goal off the bench in the win over Exeter in the middle of last week, his first appearance of the season after recovering from a calf injury. And here is Blackett-Taylor again, outside left channel, the near side touchline, looks for Kirk with the yellow boots on, back to Blackett-Taylor, Charlton playing from right to left, a little flick and a turn from Sessegnon, nudges the ball infield towards Fraser, brought down by the sliding challenge of Pack, right in front of the referee, free kick given, and they appeal for the referee to look at this and give a second yellow card to Marlon Pack, who has already been booked and could be in trouble here. There are players from both sides getting involved and disagreeing with each other. Off is the chant from the Charlton fans, but it was a late tackle from Pack, a risky tackle. It doesn't look like he's going to get a second yellow card though.
Well, I think he's got away with that one, that's for sure, because it was a little touch that got away from him, and it looked like their Marlon Pack went to ground, slid in, and he was certainly late on Fraser.
Right in front of the referee. And what's he going to do? He's going to call Pack over here. Is John Busby. John Busby, who was a late replacement for the original referee, Dean Whitestone. And Pack is going to get a second yellow card, and he is sent off. Well, there's certainly been a delay in the referee's decision-making process. John Busby, now I would never suggest that he was influenced by what was said or influenced by the crowd, not at all. But as Pack walks off down the tunnel, which is to the left-hand side nearest the north stand, so he's getting all sorts of boos and waves goodbye from the Charlton fans, but there was a strange delay in that decision from the referee.
Yeah, it was. I mean, look, maybe he was taking his time just to get it right. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. You do want to make sure you make the right decision, and I think that was the right call. And obviously just goes from bad to worse here from Portsmouth when they looked like they were maybe going to get back in the game.
Well, you're absolutely right, and as I say, there's no suggestion the referee was influenced by anything in the crowd or what the Charlton players have said to him, but he made the right call, and Portsmouth are down to 10 men. It's Charlton 2, Portsmouth 0 on Talksport 2, and as we enter the final quarter of the game, it is all going wrong for the team from the South Coast, but the team from South London are looking to further their advantage from the free kick. 25 yards out, left of centre. Fraser to Dink in the delivery. Free header. 3-0. Owen O'Connell at the far post to climb. It's another centre half who's scored, and it's 3 big points for Charlton Athletic. Charlton 3, 10-man Portsmouth 0, and it goes from bad to worse for Danny Cowley and co.
It certainly does. I mean, from the free kick where they've already seen Marlon Pack sent off, they score from it. Brilliant ball in. Again, I think it's Fraser with the delivery. Excellent ball along the 6-yard box, and there's O'Connell, brilliant downward header. He's almost in line with the back post as he heads this back across goal. Griffiths didn't move a muscle, just nestles in that far corner.
Big cheer for Owen O'Connell, big moment for him, his first ever Charlton goal. The former Rochdale captain on the score sheet, and there are Portsmouth fans leaving the valley now in their droves, streaming out of the away end. The game is surely beyond them. It will be just their second defeat of the League One season so far. Well, now Danny Cowley is going to bring on Jay Mingy. I just think it's a strange one, that. And he's also going to bring on the former Charlton player, Rico Hackett. Dane Scarlett's number is up, the Tottenham loanee goes off. Rico Hackett, who never really made the grade at Charlton Athletic. And Owen Dale, the other player to leave the field. And confirmation that it is Jay Mingy now who belatedly comes on. And can you understand the delay in that change?
Well, not really, but there must have been some reason for it. I think certainly they had the injury to contend with from Jacobs. They were going to make the changes, I think, before the injury from Jacobs. Maybe that had little influence on it as well.
And you have to say, in fairness to Portsmouth, the unfortunate injury to Jacobs, who was really starting to orchestrate proceedings, has hurt them. But the sending off for Pack has too, and Charlton are looking for more. They scored 4 against Exeter last time out here at the Valley. They're unbeaten at the Valley so far this season, and they're turning on the style. Impudent couple of flicks from Blackett-Taylor, a nutmeg or two as well. But now it's a brilliant run from Mingy, surging forward towards halfway. Fouled, and then a shove in the back that was completely needless from Morel on Sessegnon. It was a cynical foul from Sessegnon, but there was no reason whatsoever for Morel to do that. Pure frustration. The red mist emerged in front of him, you feel, and just the two hands in the back of Sessegnon, and I mean that's just silly because he's going to talk himself into trouble. Yeah, absolutely. I think he's just got to Charlton. Some of his teammates there just putting their hands down and said, look, just settle down, Loney, don't do anything stupid now. And he was in full flow there, the Portsmouth player. And there we go, David Connie. It's that point in the game where changes are made aplenty, because Charlton now wants to bring on both Albie Morgan and Jack Payne as well, and a yellow card for Joe Morel, completely unsurprising. So 3-0 to Charlton against the 10 men of Portsmouth on Talksport 2, and the referee hasn't turned to look back towards the near side touchline, and Ben Garner's absolutely fuming. They're clearly waiting to make the change, and now the referee looks over towards the touchline, points towards the touchline, and I think we are going to have this double substitution. Well, he's doing all the signals there, Ben Garner, in terms of his arms and screaming out for the referee to acknowledge that he wants to make the subs. Well, off goes Corey Blackett-Taylor, Dave, who I've really enjoyed watching tonight. Yeah, he's been excellent. Scored a great goal. Really, really good goal. Lovely, calm, composed finish. Probably played himself into the side for that trip to Shrewsbury on Saturday, and why would you change anything if you're Ben Garner? And both wingers coming off now, because Jezrin Raksaki is going to be replaced by the diminutive but the very experienced Jack Payne, who is another signing from Swindon for Charlton. Payne, he hit 13 goals and set up 6 last season. I mean, look, you have to say, in terms of position in the league when both sides started, nobody expected this with 20 minutes to go, but it's been a statement performance and surely a statement win for Charlton, this. Yeah. I mean, Payne, he grabbed a goal, didn't he, against Exeter a little while back. A nice header, smallest player on the pitch, and often comes off the bench. And Charlton have got options, and they've brought them on tonight. And Portsmouth, really, the game has followed the pattern of the second half as it did in the first. The positive start from the visitors, but Charlton have timed their goals well, and now with Pack sent off, surely Portsmouth 3-0 down have far too much work to do. The vast majority of Portsmouth fans have stayed on, but it looked like a couple of hundred did leave after that third goal, as Sessegnon has to head the ball behind, out of play for a Portsmouth corner. Well, a bit of urgency here from Ronan Curtis. He's got to grab the ball, he's got to take it. No one else is going to do it. He hasn't got time to wait for someone else to go out and grab the ball. Curtis near side is... Well, he is now. Called over Clark Robertson to swing this in left-footed. I mean, they haven't got too many natural left-footers out on the pitch, Dave, have they? No, that's right. So it's going to be Robertson's job to take it from this near-side touchline. And Robertson wearing the captain's armband. Left-footed, high towards the edge of the 6-yard box, and a very powerful header away by Innes. Rising highest, a great commanding presence darting through the crowd. Ball floated forward by Swanson. The flick on by Raggett. There's a chance on here. Wallacott makes the save on the edge of his 6-yard area in front of Colby Bishop, who was a little slow to move towards that, maybe wary of colliding with the goalkeeper, but Wallacott spread himself well. Yeah, maybe he just should have been on the move a little bit earlier from that diagonal, just gambling that they were going to win the flick on. He wasn't, caught on his heels slightly. Well, Portsmouth will stay in the playoff positions whatever happens tonight. They will have a couple of games in hand as well, but it is a blow this for Danny Cowley. They had only lost once this season before tonight, and that was in a thriller at Ipswich that potentially could have gone either way, but tonight they are going to be soundly beaten, and there are still 17 minutes to go. And Charlton, well, we mentioned Chuck Sanike earlier, and I think he is going to get some game time now. Swanson for Portsmouth, long sleeve shirt on, right back position. Back to Raggett, square ball to Robertson, and now Ogilvie. left back position far side. So Cambridge against Ipswich tomorrow in the Papa John's Trophy on Talksport 2.
Oh, that's not bad.
To break through the middle. What a touch that was. Slide tackle on him though by Egbo to stop the attack.
Yeah, that was really, really nice. Lovely little flick round the corner from Bishop into the path of Curtis, but it's a little bit heavy.
The chance was gone. Ogilvy's fouled. I mean, has it really been a 3-0 game for Charlton? It's a strange one, isn't it, for Danny Cowley, really?
Yep. I mean, they certainly had an awful lot of the ball, Portsmouth, but they've just been Charlton being ruthless on the counter-attack.
It has been very impressive from Charlton, who will be up to 10th in the table and closing in on those playoff spots. A couple of points off them. Bishop for Portsmouth down by the dead ball line, holds it up, but well tracked by Sessegnon, and you can see the desire in these Charlton players. We mentioned it in the first half, and now the goal is to keep a third clean sheet of the League One season. A foul on Morel as he looked to meander in field. Body checked by Fraser. Free kick Portsmouth midway inside opposition territory, right of centre.
Well, it's certainly too far out for a strike on goal here, so you imagine this will be lofted into the box, but they've defended these pretty well, Charlton, haven't they? You know, any sort of set piece situation. They're a big team, as you mentioned earlier.
But they look like they're going to hold a very high defensive line here for a free kick that is midway inside their own half. Charlton are going to position themselves virtually 10 yards away from it. Of course, the two-man wall is 10 yards, and the rest of the players are holding a line that is only a yard or so behind that. Hackett is over it against his former side, and Curtis is taken a long couple of strides back, but it's Hackett will curl it left-footed, and you're never really going to score from there. Wow. And it was an easy save for Wallicott. The ball just bounced up in front of him, and you called it, Dave, before it even struck it.
Amazing.
Strange decision.
Yeah.
An easy save for the goalkeeper. I wonder whether that's a player who wanted a goal against his former club. And Fraser gets across on the intercept. Central midfield position for Charlton. Robbed of possession by the tall, leggy Hackett, who looks for Curtis. Nudges it wide left to the far side in Ogilvy. Less than 15 minutes to go. Charlton 3, the 10 men of Portsmouth 0. Ball is scooped, stabbed high up into the air by Bishop. Unorthodox towards Ogilvy. Ogilvy shrugs aside the smallest player on the pitch, Payne. Out of play. Portsmouth corner. They have won plenty of corners. They're 7th now. And they haven't thrown in the towel, Portsmouth, in fairness to them. You can see there's still an attempt at desire and energy, even if the game feels like it's lost. Robertson will take. Danny Cowley watches on, arms folded. His brother just to his left. Robertson's high hanging out swinging delivery deep to the far post. Flag up on the near side. Might have gone straight out of play, or maybe there was a foul that the assistant spotted. Either way, Charlton will have it back, and we might have a slight concern to look at here because Stephen Sessegnon is down, I think, with cramp. Here comes a Charlton change. The captain, Jayden Stockley, coming off. Here comes Chuck Sanike. Back-to-back substitute appearances at the Valley. At the start of his season, he had missed all of it with a calf problem up until last Tuesday. Came and scored off the bench against Exeter. One big striker for another. And Stephen Sessegnon is going to come off. They're not going to take any chances, Charlton. And it's the defender, 6'4", Sean Clare, with his hair tied in a ponytail, who is going to come on as Charlton look to shore themselves up again defensively.
Yeah, maybe he might have just a touch of cramp here, Stephen Sessegnon. But as it is, I mean, Stockley's coming off. I think he's a real leader out on that pitch for Charlton. You can see him directing operations, even when he was going off there, just passing on a few final instructions to his teammates, and it's a real leader, certainly, for this team.
Interesting, isn't it? Because he's not been as prolific as he was last season. I think it was 20 goals in all competitions, and just the 2 this season for Jayden Stockley. But when you're a captain, Dave, is it a different kind of role that you need to play in that sense?
Absolutely. And he takes that really seriously. I often looked at him out there, his body language and helping, directing his team.
Well, they're enjoying themselves here, Charlton supporters. Chanting, is there a fire drill towards the away end? There's not. One or two Portsmouth fans have, maybe understandably, decided to call it a night and get the train back home. And Conor McGrandles is going to be the latest player to come on, the former MK Dons midfielder. And Scott Fraser has really put in a good shift in midfield, and he's going to get a standing ovation as well.
Yeah, he has. Him and Dobson in the middle of the park, those two, the engine room were outstanding.
I mean, has it been the kind of performance that Ben Garner's been looking for and waiting for? We've talked about that attacking approach that he has. It hasn't really necessarily been a take the game by the scruff of the neck approach for Charlton. They've been impressive more than anything on the counter, but whatever's happened tonight, it's worked really well for them, hasn't it?
It has, yeah.
11 minutes to go, plus injury time on Talksport 2. And they have a free kick here, Charlton, on halfway. Kirk was caught by a late challenge. Talked about that live football. Coventry against Sheffield United in the Championship on Wednesday on Talksport 2. Ipswich against Derby in League One. Can't wait for that. Ipswich, who have had a great start to the campaign, against Paul Warne's Derby on Friday at 8 o'clock. And then Saturday game day back on the Talksport network. Nottingham Forest against Liverpool, the lunchtime game on Talksport. Same time here on 2. Blackpool against Preston North End, and that's followed by commentary of Everton against Crystal Palace. And then to complete the weekend of commentaries for you on Sunday at noon, really looking forward to Watford against Luton. That is some derby. And Watford, another of David Connolly's former clubs, and
I'll be at that one.
Well, I bet you can't wait.
Yeah, it should be a great game, especially both teams off the back of a good result.
Yeah, absolutely. Watford's best performance of the season probably against Norwich live on Talksport 2 last weekend. Now it's Mingy who's gone down, the Portsmouth sub, midway inside his own half, and I think Charlton have got themselves a throw anyway. And Sean Clare will take on the near side. Well, lots of noise from the covered end behind the goal, as Charlton with Innes playing it square to Egbo. Egbo is 15 yards shy of the halfway line, into the 81st minute now. The game surely beyond Portsmouth. Here goes Curtis though, trying to surge forward over the halfway line, lays it to the left and Ogilvie forward to Hackett, and Ogilvie again just steers the ball calmly square into the feet of Morrell. Well, Portsmouth started the first half well, started the second half well, and maybe didn't create enough when they were on top in the game, and that might be what will frustrate Danny Cowley among other things tonight. High long ball forward, flicked on by Bishop, a clever flick inside left channel to find Curtis. Curtis faced up by two red shirts. He's pushed towards the corner flag, and one of those red shirts, Payne, sticks out a leg to make a tackle. Portsmouth throw. Important not to panic, David Connolly, but it will be 4 games without a win in the league for them.
Yeah, that's right. And yeah, a big game against Forest Green, you mentioned that. I mean, they've just taken their sporting director, so that adds to it.
Yeah.
Richard Hughes has joined.
And, as you say, added spice to a game that is important for both sides. Forest Green, who are currently in League One's bottom 4. Curtis collects possession for Portsmouth, and in via deflection somehow manages to squeeze it through towards Hackett, who again is converged upon by Charlton players. Curtis has looked really good, really lively since coming on. He's won the ball back with great industry midway inside the Charlton half, but he doesn't get the square ball from Ogilvie. Charlton intercepts, and suddenly they've got 4 against 2. Morgan herring down the far side, the right, 2 in the middle, crosses in early towards Kirk, far post. Great tackle on the stretch, on the intercept by Swanson to knock it behind for a corner. Portsmouth, for 10 men, were really stretched there. Yeah,
they were. Again, Charlton on the counter. You know, that has been their main weapon tonight. And obviously it's a little bit easier when you're playing against a side with 10, but nonetheless, even with 11, they're really good at it.
Another set plays have been threatening too, and the 2 centre-halves who've both scored are there again. O'Connell and Innes at the far post. Kirk will take the corner. He'll be right-footed, driven high, deep to the far post, and it's O'Connell who's waiting to try and nod it back across goal. Raggett heads clear, back in by McGrandles, the little flick, heavy touch from Morrell, shot is deflected, comes to the edge of the box now, and Morgan for Charlton, the number 10. Clare will steer it wide to the near side, and Kirk. 3-0 up Charlton. Kirk's cross gathered by Griffiths, straight into his chest.
Yeah, he had an overlapping run there he could have used.
It must be a really satisfying moment for this, as Dobson is yellow carded for a foul.
Well, Ben Garner's not happy. He thinks, you know, that was a cheap yellow. Yeah.
And George Dobson is such a key player in that midfield for Charlton. But it must be nice as a head coach for Ben Garner here, David Connolly, although I say he doesn't look too relaxed on the touchline at the moment, but when you know that the game is almost certainly won.
Absolutely, yeah. Wins have been hard to come by, haven't they?
Yeah, it will only be their 4th of the League One season. Bishop trying to hair towards the byline for Portsmouth, but shrugged aside by Egbo, who did brilliantly despite being the smaller of the two players, and clears upfield via deflection. They've kept Bishop quiet tonight, Charlton, that's for sure. Not many teams have this year. Forward by Raggett, high towards Curtis, and that's skimmed off the head of Dobson, but Wallacott is there, the goalkeeper, all in yellow, to prevent the corner.
I mean, they've had some good performances. You think about the 5-1 against Plymouth.
Yeah.
I mean, this will rank up there as well.
Leaders.
Yeah.
It's not often that you can say teams have taken Plymouth apart this season. They beat Derby here earlier on in the campaign. I mean, they're yet to win away from home, so that really is the next step, isn't it? They have to go and back that up now.
Absolutely. I mean, they've got Shrewsbury, so that could be the place.
Shrewsbury, who themselves are playoff chasers, only outside the top 6 on goal difference at the moment. But as you say, David Connolly, Charlton will look to leapfrog them at the weekend. Payne infield from the left to Morgan, halfway line, back to Payne, live the centre circle. Neat one-touch play from Charlton. And Dobson will slow the game down and steer it to the left, and Kirk back to Dobson once more. 5 minutes to go, and the away end is spinning out now. There are more and more red seats starting to appear. Portsmouth, who have been down to 10 men since the 65th minute and the dismissal of Marlon Pack. Very quickly after that, Charlton got their 3rd and clinching goal. A night where Charlton's training ground routines from set pieces have paid off, among other things. Here is Clare at the left back position, gives it away to Hackett. He was late with a tackle. Referee plays the advantage. Crossing from the right by Mingy, headed away by Innes. A good header because he was facing his own goal. Now it's chipped forward by Morgan towards the halfway line. Only half controlled by Raggett. And here they go on the counter again, Charlton. They've looked dangerous like this all night. Again, it's 3 against 3. And Nike through the centre. Plays it wide towards Payne. Payne on the edge of the box. Onto his left foot. Goes for goal. Takes a deflection off the sliding Raggett. And goes behind for a Charlton corner. Maybe a little bit selfish. He had players around him, but you can understand him going for it in these circumstances.
Well, Rico Hackett is down in the Portsmouth half. I mean, he thinks there was a bad challenge on him. Getting a bit of treatment here, the physio.
It was a late challenge from Clare, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And he is being treated, even as the corner is about to be taken.
Well, late, I think it was high. That's the issue. It's high, above his shin, on his knee. I mean, they can't take this, can they? Can't take the corner with the physio on the pitch.
No, they can't. And the referee is signalling to the corner taker that it can't take place. And Portsmouth might be temporarily down to 9 very shortly. Hackett is on his feet, but he's limping, and he's going to have to temporarily go off, so it will be the 9 men of Portsmouth. 3-0 down here to Charlton. It's just not been their night. Corner taken short by Kirk to Payne. Payne allowed to stroke it back towards Clare, midway inside the Portsmouth half. And Hackett just trying to walk off that injury. He's back on the field now, so they're back to their complement of 10. Kirk clips in a delivery, headed away by Raggett unopposed inside the centre circle. Fans on their feet behind the goal. Dobson edge of the box, miscontrol. It's fallen for Payne though. Payne lays it square, gets it back from Innes. Corner of the penalty area, looks in search of a goal here. Plays in a deep cross up towards the Nike, but it's headed away by Swanson this time. Remember, they scored 4 against Exeter here on Tuesday. They're looking for 4 tonight, Charlton. That's a foul though by Morgan on Mingy. Ben Garner again not happy. Yellow card, David Connolly. Was that worth a yellow card?
Well, I'm not sure it's worth Morgan actually bringing him down there and risking a yellow, because, 3-0 up, there's only a couple of minutes left. Probably unnecessary. Got plenty of players back.
Portsmouth born Albie Morgan, but Charlton is in his heart. He's been at the academy since he was less than 10 years old. Forward by Raggett for Portsmouth, high up the inside right channel, cleared away by a stretching O'Connell. Centre halves have done a great job for Charlton tonight.
They have. Amongst the goals as well.
Absolutely, yeah. Well, it doesn't hurt, but it's been a real team performance, hasn't it too? And I'm sure Ben Garner will be delighted about that. throw in field from Swanson, who gets it back from Curtis, and tackle from Morgan on Mingy that was well timed this time. And Ben Garner hopping up and down in his technical area, desperate I think for Charlton to keep their clean sheet intact. They didn't do it against Exeter. They won that game by 4-2. Just 2 clean sheets all season in League One so far. Hackett, who seems to have regained full fitness, steers the ball wide to the near side, and Swanson's cross headed away, comes out to Hackett into the box. His touch was heavy, that allowed Morgan to hammer it into touch.
I'll tell you what, Ronan Curtis made a brilliant underlapping run in the box. He wasn't tracked. Swanson's just got to feed it into him. Instead he crosses in the box, easily cleared.
And in some ways the players who've come on for Portsmouth have looked more threatening than those who started the game. That's not a good cross though from Curtis. Easy for Wallacott, easiest take he'll have all night. It has not gone their way tonight in some ways, Portsmouth. I think we were talking about it earlier, weren't we, Dave? Losing Jacobs at the point that they did to injury was a blow, and then of course the red card after that. Here is Wallacott, the Charlton goalkeeper, forward into the feet of O'Connell. Now Clare, left back position. There are 25 seconds of normal time to go, so stoppage time awaits. Back it goes to Wallacott again. First time clearance high upfield. Up towards Anike, controlled it well. McGrandles will steer it left into the path of Kirk, who looks menacing as he drives towards the corner of the box. Infield to Morgan, opens up for him, he shoots! Good save down low by Griffiths. Lovely football again, yet again, on the counter by Charlton, as we go into 6 minutes added time.
Yeah, it was really cool. I mean, Wallacott with the long ball up to Anike, takes it down on his chest, just allows Charlton to build, and even without Stockley, I mean, that's what Stockley gives him, doesn't he? He's that platform to build off. Even if he's not scoring goals, he's linking things, getting hold of it. He goes off, Anike comes on. Got a goal against Exeter, didn't he, the other day? And he's come on and he's looked good here.
And Anike is such an attacking spur at times for Charlton Athletic. And Payne has looked lively since taking to the field as well. Suddenly, there's that competition for places for Charlton. And you can really sense the home crowd responding, those supporters on their feet at the covered end away to the left in that 2-tiered stand, really voicing their support for their team. The Charlton throw, it's Egbo on the far side. Payne, a delightful nutmeg on not one but 2 Portsmouth players, Hackett and Morrell, and he was caught late. He was sent sprawling. Payne gets a hug from Egbo, a little pat on the back as well. Charlton free kick far side, right wing.
Brilliant bit of skill, wasn't it?
Lovely dancing feet.
Well, there's a good bit in the programme with him. Nice double page spread talking about him, happy to play anywhere and be versatile, etc.
He's an experienced player, Jack Payne, formerly of Huddersfield and Southend. Free kick driven in by Morgan, and Anike, far post, couldn't direct the header on target. It looked for a second like Morgan had overhit that and Anike was going to struggle to reach it, but he did, and he was free, but he couldn't find the target.
Well, talking of struggling, I think Portsmouth has struggled with these set pieces today, especially the free kicks. Always seems to be a Charlton head that seems to get on the end of them.
A little bit worrying that for Danny Cowley, among other things. And Portsmouth down to 10 men, forward by Robertson towards the centre circle, and Mingy turns and spins, the tall slender midfielder, knocks it forward towards Bishop. By deflection it reaches Hackett corner of the box, the angle against him, might well go for goal here, does left footed, blocked, didn't really get his head up and look for options though. Charlton had players in front of him, they're always the favourite to block that shot. Loose ball has come out to Swanson on the near side, exchanges passes with Hackett, little 1-2, back to Morrell trying to skip away from Morgan. Charlton working really hard here in second half stoppage time as Robertson finds the feet of Curtis, nudges it well out left to Ogilvie, did brilliantly to find Ogilvie, but the defender's cross is poor really, out of play for a throw. And actually, aside from the save from Bishop when it was still 0-0 early in the game, Wallacott hasn't had a lot to do.
No, he hasn't. I mean, that was good pressing there from Charlton, because every pass from Portsmouth there was real good pressure on the ball, just forcing them to stretch and play the ball in early as Ogilvie did then, and that puts pressure on your quality, and in the end he's passed it off the park. Anike
has given the ball away for Charlton. It's come straight back to the run of Mingy down the near side touchline. He immediately tried to race towards the corner flag, but across came the commanding figure. The presence of O'Connell to make the tackle. We've had 3.5 minutes of 6 added. Charlton fans just trying to sing their team home. A long throw from Swanson to the box. The flick right across the face of goal by Curtis. Everybody allowed it to bounce. And then, and only then, did Jojo Wallacott, the goalkeeper, pounce on the loose ball.
Well, I think his two centre-halves were hoping he was going to come a little bit earlier for that. He didn't, and good job there was no Pompey player there.
It's a comfortable night under the lights in the end for Charlton. And to the middle, a great run, but immediately Clare, with authority, steps across him, whips off his toes and says, thanks very much, I'll have that back. And now a foul on Morgan and a Charlton free kick just shy of the halfway line.
Well, that was a good move, wasn't it, from Portsmouth, to be fair, playing out from the back into midfield, and it's good defending from Clare, recovering back in.
If you had to nominate a man of the match, former Portsmouth striker David Connolly, what do you reckon on what we've seen tonight?
Well, I'd probably say Scott Fraser.
Yeah. I
think heart of midfield and 2 assists, and it was excellent in the middle of the park.
I mean, there have been quite a few contenders, haven't there, really, for Charlton tonight? But Scott Fraser's been such a steadying presence alongside George Dobson. Minutes of stoppage time to go. Loose pass out of play from Curtis. Well, sometimes it's good to not have too long until your next game. They did have a lot of preparation time for this one, did Portsmouth. They hadn't played since the 8th of October before tonight, so about 9 days or so to get ready for it. Maybe it was almost too much time to wait.
Well, it's either feast or famine, isn't it? You know, sort of either playing every 3 days, or they've had a gap like that, and then they've got to catch up, haven't they, with the points?
Yeah.
Games in hand, but obviously you'd like to have the points.
Never easy though, is it, necessarily?
No, it's not. I mean, Coventry in the same boat, aren't they, in the Championship?
Yeah, absolutely. It's never easily done. And while they still have 2 games in hand to go, Portsmouth, they are going to lose the first of the 3 tonight. The referee John Busby has had a look at the watch, a second glance. A throw from Ogilvie up towards halfway, and there's the full-time whistle. Charlton Athletics' best performance of the season so far. A comprehensive victory over one of the playoff chasers, and maybe there is hope of Charlton making a charge for the top 6 this year under the leadership of Ben Garner. Just the 3rd clean sheet of the League One campaign. Back-to-back league wins for the first time this year. But it's the Portsmouth fans who are going home disappointed. There were 1 or 2 boos from the away end at the final whistle.